Good evening and welcome to the Formula Racing League. Round 6 takes us to the circuit of Suzuka in Japan, the land of the rising sun. And so we're going to be doing the short qualifying and a 27-lap Japanese Grand Prix. So we should be done within the next hour and a quarter. So in regards to the Drivers' Championship, Lezard in the Ferrari leads by 6 points over Turenbar, who's not currently racing at the moment. Then it's Smolly in third, a further 8 points adrift, with Don Arjun in fourth on 84. Now the point system is that it's 40 points for a race win, 32 for second, 26 for third, and 20 for fourth. The top 15 finishers score points. Now they have to finish the race to score points. There's only 14 involved tonight, which is 3 more than what we had last week in Bahrain. That saw Lezard come out on top to take his third victory in a row. Those 3 wins helping him take the lead in the championship from Turenbar. Now De Rudiger is in the McLaren for the first time. His first race in the FRL. You can just see someone out on circuit that it would be Lezard. It's gone out on a set of soft compound tyres. So we're also waiting for some laps to come in. Look on the calendar, we've got Suzuka, and then Austin, Singapore, Mexico, and then Baku is scheduled to be the final round on the 12th of October. But with the problems we've had in the Australian and Austrian rounds for tiers 1, 2 and 3, we could potentially have another round added in, which could well be the Portimao circuit in Portugal. They've been released on Monday. In regards to the updates, there's been the Aston Martin safety car being added. Next month it'll be the Imola circuit and the sport livery updates. And in November will be the Jeddah circuit in Saudi Arabia and the 2021 Formula 2 cars. So plenty to look forward to in the next couple of months. We go to Lezard then. One of what looks like 7 or 8 drivers out on circuit now has begun a flying lap in the Ferrari. Lezard, who missed the opening 2 rounds of the season, came back in rounds 3, 4 and 5 and had won in each and every one of them, including Bahrain last week. He won by quite a margin actually. Eight and a half seconds it was by the checkered flag, so it was a rather comfortable margin for Lezard. He's on 123 points at the moment. You can see the 2 Rebels almost squabbling for position. Now they need to be careful because Lezard is coming round to go past them, so they don't want to be getting in his way. Let's see one of them moving out of the way now. That'll be Zach. Well, Lezard goes off the track. Don't know if the turbulent air caught him out actually. He carries on. The lap time is not invalidated, so he may as well go on and complete the lap and just get a banker of a lap in there. So exiting turn 17 through 18, got a kick of wheel spin. So 129.5, but he knows that there is still time to be found. One of the Aston Martins will be going over the line. The only Aston Martin in the field, that is Beko. And it's going to be a 129.5. He goes ahead by a little over a couple of hundredths. Now one of the Haas's is coming through, Roman's Republic. The only Haas driver involved tonight. It's coming through. I think he's backed off on this lap, actually. I think this is a prep lap before he goes on to do the proper lap, the flying lap. So we'll come away from him. We'll go to the AlphaTauri of Liam, whose lap has been invalidated. Davidosh on the medium compound in the Ferrari is next. So entering the last turn, and Davidosh posts a 1:30.8. That puts him third for the time being. Got one of the Alpines going over the line to start a flying lap, and then we've got a McLaren of De Rudiger posting a 1:29.3, and that's a very strong lap time at this point so far. So De Rudiger, provisional pole position with 13 minutes of the session remaining. We'll go to Pimis next. He's not on a very... Well, he's about to post his first time in the session, so this is more of a banker lap to get on the board. So Pimis posts a 1:31.0. And Zach is just posting just an unrepresentative time. And Arjun's gone off on the exit of Degner. Smalley's gone through ahead of him. And Rome's Republic is going to be crossing over the line now. And it's going to be a 1:29.6, puts him fourth. It's not far away from the fastest time. Now the next driver over the line will be Smalley. And by sector 2, it's 1:12.2. The Alpine driver over the line, and he posts the fastest time as a 1:28.8. So he goes fastest by over 0.4 of a second. So Pimis is on his way back into the pit lane. Rome's Republic is likely to be doing the same. So Arjun is on a flying lap now, going again. Oh, he's slid wide at the first turn. He struggled to get the car slowed down, if I'm honest with you. Now Arjun hits the curve there. He was very lucky to not see his lap time being invalidated. So Arjun looking to improve here. Definitely improve on his time. Down the back straight as Arjun comes towards the second time beam. It's now 1:13.7. He's nowhere near the paces where he needs to be, so he's probably going to be ending up on a 1:30. He'll go on and complete the lap, I think, anyway. So over the line does Arjun, and it is a 1:30. It's a 1:30.6, and he goes behind Rome's Republic in 6th place. Here's Liam in the AlphaTauri. So entering Spoon and heading down the back straight, and he'll eventually come towards 1:30R. There's a 1:12.7 by sector 2. So Liam over the line He'll be the 10th driver to post a lap time of any sort. He goes third on a 1:29.4. So that's a good effort from Liam, although there's definitely more time to be found. Now Lezard is on another flying lap in the Ferrari, 5th at the moment. It wasn't the best line he took there on the exit of Spoon, which will cost him a little bit of time. And now we're going into sector 2. He's a full second up from before. So it's looking good for him to be on provisional pole position, providing he gets through the Casio triangle without any drama. Through the last kink. Over the line, it's going to be a 1:28.2. And he goes to pole position by over 0.6 of a second from Smalley. So it's advantage Lezard in qualifying so far. Argent looking to improve on his lap time. I think he's just improved on the 1:29.8, so he'll be wanting to improve that even more. He needs to get up there with likes of Smalley and Derudiger and Liam. Here's Mikey, who's on not on a very quick lap, if I'm honest with you. He may just back out of it and head into the pits to get another set of tyres on. We'll go to Ginge next, who's in the Mercedes, heading through sector 2 now. 1:13.1 for him. So only 4 drivers have yet to set lap time so far. One of them will not be setting a lap time. Murphy normally retires from the session and starts from the back of the grid, as he always does in the FRL. 1:30.0 for Ginge. That puts him 8th. So we've only seen 2 drivers so far set lap times on the medium compound. They are Davidosh and Pimis. Rudiger in the McLaren, exiting Spoon, and now he'll go towards the second sector. 2 tenths up from before. It's a whole second away from pole. It's going to be very difficult for him to find all the time he needs if he's going to be on the front row here. Takes the shorter route to the line, and he does go to the front row. So De Rudiger goes second on a 1:28.7, a tenth faster than Smalley. Now Smalley's on a flying lap at the moment. Rose Republic over the line to go 4th on a 1:29.2. Now we've got Red Bulls crossing over the line. I think Pimis is just starting another lap. And Zach goes 7th on a 1:29.5 on the soft compound. So who is on a flying lap at the moment? Ginger will be coming back into the pit lane. Becco is on a flying lap. We'll go back to Smalley though, because he's managed to find time in the first sector, 3/10 in fact. So through sector 2, he's only a tenth up. He's lost time in sector 2. This lap should still be good enough to put him back onto the front row here for Smalley. Lucky his lap time didn't get invalidated there. He's coming back into the pits. Let's get another set of boots put on the Alpine. Becco's lost time as well. He'll be going into the pit lane. Only just, though. Oh, and Zach's in the wall. Zach got the power down on the exit of the hairpin, and he will be going no further in qualifying. He didn't really need to do that, if I'm honest with you. A silly error from him. Now, Pimis is on an improvement on this lap from what he set before on the mediums. He's nearly 8 tenths up by sector 2. Now this lap should put him in front of Davidosh. 5 minutes remaining in qualifying. It's a 1:30.0 for Pimis, but it's only good enough for 10th. Here's Berry in the Alfa Romeo, who's yet to post a lap time. This looks more like a banker lap that he's going to set here. So it's Lezard who is fastest by half a second. Then we've got De Rudiger in second place. Smalley third, ahead of Rowan's Republic, who's a whole second off the pole time. Liam is in 5th place, ahead of Becco and Zach. Argent is 8th, Ginge 9th, and Pimis rounding up the top 10. All those 10 have set their lap times on the soft compound. So Davidosh on the mediums may want to put a set of the soft compound on, which I think he has done now. So Berry over the line to go 11th on a 1:30.0. That displaces Davidosh. Mikey's on the fast lap, otherwise known as SpongeBob on the graphic. And now he enters the hairpin. And so he exits the hairpin. 3.5 minutes remaining. Lezard's lap time looks good enough, but we don't know how the track will evolve. Mikey heads down the back straight. 1 minute 13.1 by sector 2. I think this is only going to be good enough for him to go into the top 10, if I'm honest with you. So, Mikey over the line, 1 minute 29.9. He goes 9, so he's in a Mercedes sandwich for the time being. Davidosh has lost time somewhere. Becco started a flying lap. Berry will be making his way either back into the pit lane or slow down and go for another lap on the soft compound tyre that he's on. Now Davidosh is prepping for one last attempt here, unless he is going to decide to go back into the pit lane. If not, this will be his last attempt. No, he's coming back into the pit lane. But Jack is going for one last attempt here. So we'll go back to Becco, who's further around the circuit. He's 4 thousandths up from before by sector 1. Davidosh is not coming back out on circuit, so he'll start 13th on the grid. And someone's gone off in sector... I think that's just Liam slowing down, actually, in the AlphaTauri. So Becco doesn't need to worry about that. A 10th up by sector 2. Could potentially go in front of Liam with this lap here. Over the line, and Becco goes 4th fastest with a 1:29.2. That's a good effort from him. Who's next to go over the line? Someone's gone off in sector 1. I think that's just the Williams of Mikey who's gone off the track. Smalley's on an improvement by sector 2, half a second up. This could put him on provisional pole position with the lap he's about to produce here through the Casio Triangle. Smalley in the Alpine gets a kick of wheel spin as he gets the power down. Misses out by over a tenth. So Smalley will start second on the grid. We've got the Alfa Romeo of Jack Berry going over the line, and it's only good enough for 11th. So he goes in front of Pimis, who should get over the line, and Argent's gone for a spin on the exit of Degner 2. So he'll start 10th on the grid, no higher. I think Ginger's also improved to 9th quickest as well on a 1:29.8. So Becco's on an improvement on his lap. Becco on an improvement in the Aston Martin as the checker flag falls now. So any driver starting a lap can finish it. Rome's Republic was the last driver to cross over the line. Becco, with his lap, he improves his time, but no improvement in position. He'll start 4th, no higher. So he can find improvements for those further behind him. Liam's lap time's invalidated, so he won't be improving. Arjun likewise. He spun on his last attempt anyway. Ginge won't be improving. We'll go to Lezard next though, because he's coming through sector 2. His lap time has been invalidated. Rome's Republic has lost time somewhere. Berry slows down, so it looks as though that Pimis is the last driver who could potentially improve his lap time. He is 12th at the moment on a 1:30.0. And Lezard comes back into the pit lane and will not be improving his lap time. De Rudiger on his FRL debut in Tier 1. What is the lap time going to be for him here? Can he improve on a 1:28.7? No, he can't. Stays third. We'll go to Pimis, who did improve in Sector 2, goes up to 9th. So he goes back into the top 10, pushes Arjun down to 11th place. So Romans Republic's the last driver going to be over the line. And then we'll go to the grid. I'll go into the classification to find out. Well, what we do know is that Lezard will start the Japanese Grand Prix from pole position ahead of Smalley in second place. De Rudiger on debut in third for McLaren, with Becco fourth. Romans Republic and Liam will make up the third row. So here's your grid then for the race. Lizard and Smalley line up next to each other on the front row. No surprises there. De Rudiger and Becco make up row 2, ahead of Romans Republic and Liam. Mikey and Zach make up row 4, with Pimis and Ginge rounding out the top 10. Arjun and Burry line up next to each other on row 6, with Devadosh and Murphy rounding off the grid. Well, that was qualifying. We go on to the race next. We'll be back in a moment, in a few seconds' time. So we're all set then for the Japanese Grand Prix, just waiting for the drivers to complete their last minute tyre and fuel strategies. You have just joined us, we do welcome you. Do feel free to get involved in the conversation. And Leppy's just coming in comments and saying he's gutted he couldn't make it, as either problems with his PlayStation console or connection issues has put paid to him being involved tonight, which would have been fantastic. Unfortunately not to be tonight, so we do hope to see him back for the next round in 7 days' time. So ready to go for the formation lap. On what now? The top 10. All of the top 10 have to start on the softs, because that's what they qualified on. Arjun, Berry, Devadosh and Murphy are all starting on the mediums. So 14 cars involved. What will Lezard be thinking? He will be going for his 4th victory in a row, which will be the 12th FRL victory of his career. Smalley will be going for victory here. He's already won this season, which came in Brazil, I believe. Yes, it was Brazil, because he won in Brazil. Turinbar won at Monza, and Lezard won in China, Australia, and Bahrain last time out. So Lizard thinking ahead as to what strategy will be the best. Now, I would expect him to go onto a 2-slot strategy, unless he can make the soft tyres last. Smalley needs to try and beat Lizard here for the sake of the championship. Smalley is 14 points behind. Make that 15 actually, because Lizard took pole position. You get a championship point if you qualify on pole. There's also a point for the driver for the fastest lap, should they finish inside the top 10. And of course there's 40 points for a race victory. So the drivers are coming back onto the grid then. Lezard leading the field round. I think Pimis and Berry have collided together at some point in the lap, so being put back onto the grid. So Lezard takes up his position, and then it's Smalley and De Rudiger. And Murphy takes up his position, the 14th and final car on the grid, and will be raring to go here at Suzuka. So the 5 red lights are about to come on in front of the drivers, who will lead the field down into the first turn at Suzuka. It's lights out, and away we go. Lezard gets off the line fine. Smalley under pressure from De Rudiger, but he should keep hold of second place. Lezard off like a missile into the first turn. So Lezard leads, Smalley second, De Rudiger ahead of Beko with Romans Republic and Liam fighting over 5th place. One of the rebels is off, it's Zach. So after his crash in qualifying, Zach has fallen to the back of the field and damage to his front wing. So Lezard is away clear through the S's, with Smalley not far behind him. De Rudiger ahead of Beko, Romans Republic ahead of Liam, Mikey, Ginge, Pimis and Argent make up your top 10 so far. So other than Zach going off, there's nothing too dramatic so far, so the drivers carry on as they are in green flag conditions. So Lezard pulling out a margin over his championship rival. De Rudiger will look to bag a good haul of points on debut as the drivers make their way through the spoon curve and down the back straight towards 130R. There's no DRS for the first 2 laps of the event. So Lezard's first task will be now, or his next task, will be to bridge out that 1 second margin. Now, there's only 1 DRS zone on this Suzuka circuit. Smalley's just gone through the bollard there at the Casio Triangle. No damage done to the car, it seems. But Lezard leads at the end of lap 1 with Smalley second, De Rudiger third, Beko 4th. Romans Republic in the Haas is in 5th place. Liam 6th, Mikey 7th, Ginge 8th, Arjun just moving in front of Pimis up to 9th, and Pimis making up the top 10. Murphy making up a few positions in the Alfa Romeo in 11th. Berry 12th, Devidos 13th, Zach into the pits for a new front wing for Red Bull. Now will he decide to continue? He's a long way back, but you never give up in this league. Plus, if he finishes in 14th place... Oh, unless it's off! Now, was that a glitch, or did he make a mistake? I think he made a mistake of his own. So, Lizard is off into the gravel at the Dunlop curve. Oh, it is a glitch. But now his car is controlled by the AI, so it's a connection issue for Lizard, which is going to allow Smalley to take the lead. I hope this is for a short period of time. So, Lizard will want to get back in as soon as he can, and Davidos is the same. So, both Ferrari drivers in trouble at the moment with connection issues. And Zach is off at turn 1 on his first lap out of the pits. So Smalley takes the lead from Lezard. And someone's gone wide in sector 2. It's the other Red Bull of Pimis who has gone for a spin. He falls behind Davidos. So Smalley leads in the field round. What I was going to go back to saying a lap ago was the DRS zone is on the pit straight. There's only 1 DRS zone here at Suzuka, and the detection point isn't until the end of the lap. So now they're on lap 3, they won't get DRS until they essentially start lap 4 when they're on that pit straight. Lezard is back in control of the AI now after his maladies with his internet. And you can see the car is ghosted, as it is controlled by the AI, but it should become solid once Lezard does take back control of it. He isn't too far behind Smalley at the moment, so he can start putting him under pressure as Arjun moves in front of his Mercedes teammate Ginge to go up into 8th place. Arjun starting on the medium compound and making life's work of it. De Rudiger moves in front of Lezard, who should be back in control of his Ferrari now, which he is doing so. So Lezard down to 3rd place, and now under pressure from the Aston Martin of Beko. Come down the back straight. Now we watch Arjun, who's behind the Williams of Mikey. will have DRS for when he goes down the start-finish straight. How quickly can he get in front of him here, I wonder? Well, Lizard is close enough to use the DRS on De Rudiger. He's going to be too far back to have a go from there. And Argent closing up behind the Williams of Mikey. No way through at the moment, so he has to contend with 8th position for now. I think Davidos is back in control of his Ferrari as well, so which is good to see. Zach a long way behind in his Red Bull. So Smalley in the lead of the race at the moment. Let's watch Leslie go side by side with De Rudiger. I was going to say there was no way he was going to get 2 cars through Degner 1, and Lizard wisely backed out of it. Otherwise there would have been contact. So through the hairpin they go. And Lizard will be all over the back of the McLaren. Once they do get onto the start finish straight, De Rudiger is not going to have DRS, as he's not within a second of Smalley. So Les is going to take the opportunity to get in front of him as Arjun moves in front of Mikey at Spoon. And he goes up to 7th place. Now Ginge will be looking to capitalise and make good use of the open door as Lizard gets past De Rudiger round the outside before 130R. So he goes back up to 2nd place, does the Ferrari. Next man ahead of him will be Smalley. But we are completing the 4th lap of the race now, and those on the soft compound will be thinking as to when to pit in for their first change of tyres. And Mikey thinking about a move back on Argent with DRS. Does he do it here? He decides not to go for it from there. It may have been wise for him not to. There's Murphy in 10th. As Mikey picks up the first time penalty of the race for track limits. So that'll be added to his time at the end of the race. So Smalley, 1.3 seconds in front. The Lizard will be starting to close down that gap all the time. These two were rivals last season, although Lizard did dominate the second season of the FRL in Tier 1. Smalley only picking up a handful of victories. I believe it was 3 victories he picked up. Seesaw picked up 1 in Austria, and the last race win of Season 2 went to Mystic Joker, who's no longer involved in the FRL at the moment, for reasons which I don't know about. And Mikey gets another time penalty. That's the 2nd penalty he's picked up. So he's struggling to keep his car on the track. Oh, and that's Liamov. Now he's hit the barrier, but he's managed to keep his AlphaTauri going. He falls behind Bowie. Should stay ahead of Davidos though, so Liam making his own mistake there, but at least he's still in the race. Now De Rudiger is amazingly still keeping in touch with Lizard, although he's just, I think he's been caught out by the turbulent air of the Ferrari. And Zach's gone for a spin again. Oh, that's a deliberate crash. Zach has deliberately crashed out of the race, and that is going to bring out a safety car, I think. Yes, it has done. Now that is deliberate there from Zach. Really poor driving standards. And this could change the course of the race as well, as Smalley picks up a time penalty for track limits. So Zach will be having words with the stewards about this. That is not good driving standards. He already lost his front wing, and he just deliberately went straight into the barrier. So it's perhaps good news for those on the soft compound, because they've essentially got a free pit stop. So Smalley enters the pits, as does Lizard and De Rudiger. Becco also makes the changes to Rudiger. Comes in too fast. Arjun stays out, which is no surprise because he's on the mediums. Murphy also going through into second place. And Smalley should rejoin behind Bowie, I think, although Bowie's into the pits as well. So Smalley rejoins in third place. Lezard now fourth, De Rudiger fifth with that 5-second penalty hanging over him. Now, interestingly, Smalley and Lezard are on the hard tyres, so they can go to the end of the race, whereas De Rudiger is on the mediums. Now, I personally think that De Rudiger will get to the end of the race on the mediums, but it's going to be a rather more difficult end to the race than the beginning of it. So Zach is the first retirement of the race, down to 13 runners. Arjun has caught up to the safety car. Now, it won't be too long before this race does get back underway. We're just waiting for the field to catch up. Liam's also been into the pits. He's down in 13th and last position. I think the safety car is going to stay out there for one more lap, and then the race will get going. And as you can see, the new Aston Martin safety car. Very nice to see, actually. It's a gorgeous colour. Arjun almost trying to pass it, actually. Don't go past it, mate. That will end up being a disqualification if you do. You need to stay behind it, mate. Not go past it. So 4 drivers with time penalties at the moment. They are Bowie, Mikey, De Rudiger and Smalley. But Bowie and De Rudiger's penalties are for speeding in the pit lane. So they'll be able to take that at their next pit stop. If not, it will be added to their time at the end of the race. And Bowie's coming back into the pits now to get that 5 seconds out of the way. Is he going to go for a set of the hard compound? It is. Out he goes, and he'll rejoin in 13th place. So Bowie coming out of Degner 2. And he'll catch up to the field at the hairpin. So the safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap. Arjun will be looking to stretch out the stint on his tyres before he decides to come into the pits. I'd imagine he'll try and bridge this stint out as far as he can before he goes onto the soft compound. And Murphy will do the same, I'd reckon. But he's going to have the likes of Smalley, Lezard and De Rudiger all over the back of him. So there's the confirmation. The safety car is in this lap. So Arjun will dictate the pace, allow the safety car to pull off, and he'll decide to go when he is ready to do so. So Arjun pulls away. It's a nice restart actually from the Mercedes pilot. And he pulls clear. And we're back on the way. We begin lap 9. So Arjun leads ahead of Murphy and Smalley. Lezard behind the Alpine. Pimis moving ahead of Davidos as well. So De Rudiger in 5th place. Oh, and Mikey's gone for a spin in the Williams. And he falls to the back with so much work to do from there. Oh, Arjun, oh, he caught the grass before he got to the hairpin. Very lucky to keep it in control. That could have been him off into the gravel and Murphy into the lead. Now Arjun, as he heads through the back straight. There's no DRS for the first 2 laps of the restart. Liam getting in front of Davidovic now as well. Into 130R they go. And that's the AlphaTauri up into 10th place. Now, Suzuka has a lot of corners, 18 corners it is, including the S's. It's the only track on the calendar that overlaps. Suzuka hosting the Formula 1, a Formula 1 World Championship Grand Prix event from 1987 to 2006, and then from 2009 to 2019. Didn't host a Grand Prix last year, and it won't be hosting a Grand Prix this year due to the restrictions it has in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, but Formula 1 is hopeful that it will be returning to this wonderful country in the foreseeable future. It has extended its contract to be hosting a Grand Prix up until 2024, which is good news for Formula 1. Definitely good news for the likes of Yuki Tsunoda fans. Tsunoda himself Michael Schumacher, the most successful driver in Suzuka with 6 victories. He clinched 2 of his 7 World Championships at this track. In 2000, when he ended Ferrari's World Championship Drivers' Championship drought of 21 years. And the other championship he's won at Suzuka was in 2003 when he was battling for the title with Kimi Raikkonen that year. And Lezard's off the track at the S's. So Lezard goes off. Whilst he was battling with De Rudiger and Smalley, he's gone for a spin and he falls behind Bowie in 12th place. That's a bad error there for the championship leader who's gone backwards. So that's good news for Arjun actually. And for Smalley especially. Now Smalley has a time penalty, as does De Rudiger. And Davidovic is off the track as well in the other Ferrari, so it's going from bad to worse for the Maranello team. And Liam's gone for another spin as well at Spoon, so that's his 2nd spin of the day. And now Murphy's going to have DRS behind Arjun. So DRS opens on the Alfa Romeo. How close can he get to the Mercedes? He's not going to be close enough to have a go, I don't think. So he waits behind. And Liam crashes out of the race. That was very deliberate from Liam. And that is going to bring out a safety car, I think, again. Yes, it has done. So that's 2 drivers who have deliberately crashed out of this race. And the pair of them can hang their heads in shame, quite frankly. Really, really silly driving. And Mikey's into the pits for a change of tyres as well, puts the softs on. Now, what will the leaders decide to do here? Because Arjun and Murphy have got to stop in this race, so I reckon they'll have to come in and put a set of the hard compound on. They'll rejoin at the back of the field pretty much, but they will be on fresher tyres than those around them. So what will those on the mediums do, or those on the hards decide to do here? Because they'll want to be on grippy tyres, or grippier tyres than the others. Now Arjun and Murphy come into the pits from first and second. Smalley stays out. De Rudiger comes into the pits. Davidos gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. De Rudiger can also take his 5 seconds at his pit stop. So Arjun is on softs now, and Murphy's done the same. Davidos coming into the pits for Ferrari. Now the bad news for him is that he'll have to take his drive-through once the safety car does go back in. And it's another set of mediums going on the Ferrari. So just the 2 drivers with penalties now. They are Smalley and Mikey. They are track limit penalties, so they can't be taken at their next pit stops. They will be added to their times at the end of the race. So Smalley leads, Becco second. Rose Republic is in third place. Then it's Ginge, Pimis, Lezard now back up to 6th. Bowie 7th. And Arjun, the highest of those who have just pitted, is in 8th place. I think Mikey's just served... Did he serve some of his time penalty whilst he was in the pits? I'm not too sure. He's still got 6 seconds worth, so he's just put a set of the medium compound tyres on. So the safety car will stay out there for one more lap at least, because Mikey's so far back. The safety car normally waits for the whole pack to catch up. Now Smalley has got a decision to make here. Does he decide to gamble on a set of softs, or does he stay out there on his hards and go for the race victory from there? It's a very tough call. So Berry in 7th place. So a very good start to life in Tier 1 this season. Now he was 7th in China. Just have to see where he finished in Monza. He was 9th there, and the first race of the season he was 6th. So 6th has been his highest finish in Tier 1 so far for the Brits from Bristol. Supporter of Bristol Rovers and Liverpool. Now as it stands in the World Championship, with Smalley leading and Lezard currently in 6th place. Smalley would get 40 points. And Lezard, who's currently in 6th place, he would get 16. So looking at the championship table, Lezard would get 17 points because he got the pole position point as well. So he'd move on to 140. And Smalley would move on to 149. So Smalley, as it stands, would move into the race lead into the championship lead, but he has got that 3-second time penalty to serve at the end of the race. Now the safety car should be ducking into the pits at the end of this lap. It hasn't been called in yet, so it may decide to go. No, it's not. It's coming in. So Smalley will back the field up. He hasn't got a lot of time and space to be doing that, so he'll have to go as of when he is ready to do so. We're back on the way here at Suzuka on lap 15. 13 laps remaining. So Smalley goes through turn 1 in the lead. Beko waiting for an opportunity there. Romans Republic having a quiet race so far in 3rd place. Could be in contention for a podium. And now we watch Pimmins going right round the outside. Is he going to pull off a move on Ginge, I wonder? Or Ginge and Leslie made contact there through the S's. Pimmins, I think, is going to go right round the outside through the Dunlop curve. Does he do it there? No, he can't. And that's going to open the door for Leslie to get past. And Arjun as well. So Pimmins' audacious overtake attempt on Ginge has backfired. Now Leslie takes advantage of a mistake from Ginge to go up into 4th position, which he does so. Arjun gets through as well. And Ginger's dropping back in all this. Murphy getting in front of his teammate as well to go up into 8th place on the soft compound. So the top 3 remaining unchanged so far, but Leslie has got back into 4th position already in the Ferrari. And Murphy to the inside on Pimmins as they go through 130R, and that's a nice move there from the Alfa Romeo. Gets through to Rudiger, likewise on Bowie. So they'll come round to complete lap 15, and Davido should be coming in to serve his drive-through penalty now, which he does so. Does he slow the car down in time? Yes, he does. So Smalley trying to open out as big of a lead as he can. And Pimmins now penalised for track limits. You can see Don Argent on the soft compound in 5th place. He's desperate to get in front of Leslie, but will he need to be pitting again before this race is over? Because there's no way, I don't think, he'll get to the end of the race on the soft compound, but we'll wait and see. May go for a move on Leslie into the hairpin here, if he's clever. Leslie dive into the inside of Romans Republic. Not enough space there. Contact between the 2 drivers. Arjun can't quite take advantage at the moment, but Leslie looking to try and get a move done on the Haas. Does he do it into Spoon? He does indeed. Side by side still, and I think Arjun's trying to get through on the Haas, but can't quite do so. Orden, Leslie's in the wall! And Leslie is out of the Japanese Grand Prix. The championship leader lost it on the exit of the Spoon curve, and that is going to bring out a virtual safety car. So the championship leader has lost it after contact, and we have our 3rd safety car of the event. What an incredible development, and this will change and blow the championship wide open. So Leslie will not take a 4th successive victory of the season. And Arjun into the pits for another change of tyres. And Ginge is waiting behind as well. Plenty of activity in the pit lane. Smalley has stayed out though on his hards. Beko likewise. Murphy and DeRudigers have also stayed out. So Leslie's race comes to a premature end. He does keep his 1 point for game pole position, but that's it. So Smalley sees his lead of over 2 seconds wiped out here by the safety car. And with the likes of Arjun, Romans Republic, Davido and co on fresher tyres, he's gone with it all to do now between here and the checker flag if he's going to take victory. Now the safety car may decide to duck into the pits at the end of this lap. 11 drivers left in this race now. So Lezard, who those who follow the Formula Racing League will remember in Japan last season where Leslie came to blows with Total P's on the exit of the hairpin, which saw Total P's retired and Leslie go on to win the race. Well, Leslie has lost it all by himself, if I'm honest with you, on the exit. He caught the curb on the outside on the exit of Spoon and went into the barrier where Smalley's just going through now. The whole field is bunched up now, so the safety car should be going in at the end of this lap. Unless it is deciding just to do another lap, actually, because at this point in the race, we're not into the last few laps, so the safety car, I think, is going to decide to stay out there for another couple of laps. Now, what will Smalley and Becco decide to do? Smalley stays out, as does Becco. Murphy and Rudiger likewise. Now Leslie will be kicking himself after that error. This is good news for Smalley in the battle for the championship. Now if it was to finish as it is, although bearing in mind Smalley does still have that time penalty hanging over him. He hasn't got the fast lap of the race, and De Rudiger's now got a 5-second penalty for a collision with Argent under the safety car. So that's his chance of a good haul of points potentially going out the window. And he's been penalised again, look. So he's on 10 seconds worth. So Murphy, I think he's going to be vulnerable now to the end, between here and the end of the race, because he's on 4-lap-old softs, whereas those have just only completed the lap, I think. So he's got a little bit all to do from there. Now Smalley would get 40 points in this race, which could see his lead be as large as 25 points going into the next round, which will be in Austin. Now Arjun could possibly move up to third place and get a podium somehow. Liam won't be scoring any points, which opens the door for Jack Berry to move up to 5th. And Romans Republic, actually. Murphy's got a good opportunity to move up a position or two. 10th in the championship standings behind Paskov and Exotic Alpha. Well, we're back on the way after a third safety car period. We've got a third of the race to go. 9 laps remaining. Smalley leads on the restart. Then it's Becco and Murphy who's dropped back a little bit, which is going to allow De Rudiger to get into the slipstream. He's got to get a move on here, De Rudiger, because he's got that 10-second penalty. Well, Arjun is on fresher tyres, actually, than the McLaren, so De Rudiger's got to play it very carefully here. Now, Arjun thought about going for a move at the S's, but it's not the best place to be doing it. Runs wide at the Dunlop curve. And Arjun rides the curbs. Gets into the slipstream of the McLaren. Does he go for it into the hairpin? Here we go, look. Don Arjun down the inside. There's a bit of contact there. De Rudiger just about left him enough room. And surely the Mercedes is going to be back for more here as they go. Oh, and the McLaren moving in late there. He knew the Mercedes was going to go to the inside, but just moved a bit too much. Maybe Arjun should have just moved to the outside to prevent his car from taking any damage. We'll watch Murphy there, look, going to the inside of Becco into 130R, and he takes second place. Becco going off track. But nothing more than that as Arjun goes to the outside of the McLaren of De Rudiger at the Casio Triangle chicane. And Archie gets through and up into 4th place. So Arjun's through. That's one car down. Can he go after Becco and Murphy? Murphy down to 9th place at the moment. David in 8th place in the sole surviving Ferrari. Now Arjun and Becco argue over 3rd place as Davidos has made a mistake somewhere and he's fallen behind Bowie and Mikey. And now Ginge will be looking to get into 10th place. So Smalley's lead on the restart so far is 1.5 seconds. Davidos has gone off track though in the Ferrari on the exit of Degner 2. But at least he keeps his car in the race. And Arjun now going past Becco, it seems, is going to go side by side with him as they approach Spoon. Does Arjun get in front here? Yes, he does. And Davidos has gone for another spin on the exit of the hairpin, so that's his chances of a top 10 finish out of the window effectively, unless someone else has a problem or something. Really good to the inside of Becco as they go into the Casio Triangle chicane. And Davidos has had his 3rd spin of the lap at Spoon. And now Derudiger's going to go side by side with the Aston Martin of Becco here. Into the first turn, Derudiger gets through ahead of the Aston Martin. So Derudiger up into 4th place on the road. But we're down quite massively as it stands, so he needs to get a move on here. Now Arjun he wants to try and keep up with him actually, because Arjun is on fresher tyres. Whereas Murphy's tyres are going to be falling off the cliff, I think, before this race is over. As for Smalley, he won't be on as grippy tyres as the others are. So Arjun closing on Murphy in the battle for 2nd place. Can he get the gap down to under a second? Not with getting the car into wheel spin like that. Now Rowan's Republic is in 6th position behind Becco. Rowan's Republic is on better tyres than the Aston Martin, so you want to make good use of that. Becco's out of DRS range of the car ahead of him, so Rowan's Republic will have an opportunity to use the DRS to get ahead of him, unless he decides to do it into 130i, thinks about it, but wisely backs out of it. Contact from the Red Bull behind. That was Pimis who ran into the back of the Haas. Rowan's Republic will not like that one bit. He uses the DRS on the pit straight. Can he get in front of Becco with DRS? To the inside he goes into the first turn, and Rowan's Republic, does he get through? Yes, he does. Clean race in between the two drivers, and Rowan's Republic moves up to 5th. Ginge moving ahead of Berry as well, so Berry is down to 10th place. Now Arjun closing back up onto Murphy's Alfa Romeo, who's dropping back from Smalley as we speak. 1 second is the gap, but not under a second. So 1 second is the gap as we watch Arjun continue to claw into the gap of Murphy. And now onto the back straight. Now, was Arjun within DRS range there? I'm not 100% sure if he was. No, I don't think he is. So he'll have to make do for another lap without that. So Pimis behind Becco. He's out of ERS actually, so he won't be able to get past him from there. Now De Rudiger passing Arjun, who goes off the track before the S's. So Arjun goes for a spin, and he'll rejoin behind his teammate and Berry in 10th place. So Arjun, who had a good opportunity of going for the race victory, has thrown it all away by himself. Arjun continuing to go off track there. That's just frustration for you. No, he needs to be careful with his driving standards. Oh, he's continuing to go for a spin there, look. Needs to stop that. And Davido's continuing to go off as well in the Ferrari, so... And is that Arjun has just gone off in the background? Yeah, you can just hear the gravel going onto the racetrack, so Arjun not having a good time at the moment. So it's anyone's game for the race victory now, because Dan Murphy, no doubt, is going to be on worn softs by this stage. Mikey gets ahead of Pimis as well to go up into 6th place. Now I'd imagine that those on the softs will be beginning to struggle now. So Rudiger rides on Murphy's tail here. Mikey gets a time penalty for track limits. That takes his penalty to 9 seconds. That's going to see him drop down the order. I think Smalley may well be on the best tyres at this stage out of all the drivers now. Or De Rudiger nearly losing it on the exit of Degner 2. And now Romans Republic has a time penalty for track limits. That's good news for Becco. As it stands, Becco would be moving up to 3rd at the finish. And in sector 1, that'll be Argent, who's gone off the track. As he ripped off his front wing or got damage to his front wing, I'm not too sure. It doesn't look like he has, but he has fallen behind Davidovic now. So we're on the 3rd to last lap, as De Rudiger looks to get past Murphy on this occasion, but doesn't quite do so. So there's Becco, as he looks to get past Romans Republic on this lap. Ginge now gets a time penalty for track limits, so that will promote Berry up another position. As it stands, Berry will finish ahead of Mikey, Pimis and Ginge at this rate. So Becco behind Romans Republic. De Rudiger's dropped back from Murphy after his error, actually. That's the reason why he's lost about 4 seconds or so. So Mikey on 7-lap-old mediums, closing in on the battle for 4th place, although his penalty is going to drop in behind Pimis, Ginge, Bowie. So Mikey's going to end up losing 3 positions by the end of this race from where he is now. So we're on to the penultimate lap. Smalley, 2.8 seconds clear of Murphy. That would not be enough for him to take the victory, so he needs to pull out a couple more tenths on him to take the checker flag in 1st place. So Murphy, after starting 14th on the grid, could be on course to take his 1st victory in the FRL. Arjun gets a time penalty now for track limits. He just needs to get that car to the checker flag now, to be honest with you. Oh, and De Rudiger's off. De Rudiger's gone off the track in the McLaren. And he falls down to 8th place ahead of Berry. And De Rudiger's race goes from bad to worse. Gap is still 2.8 seconds. Murphy doing all he can at the moment as Arjun enters the pits. I think he's going to try and go for the fastest lap or something. The gap is tight at the moment once you do apply the penalty. It's just over 3 seconds. We're now on to the final lap of this race. The gap is currently 3 seconds. As Becco gets in front of Mikey. I think Mikey got in front of him for a moment, but Becco fought back. And then we go into the first turn for the last time in this race. Berry gets in front of Rudiger now for 8th. That's a good move from him. He's had a clean race so far as Berry. And he's about to move up a couple of positions, I think, by the time this race is done. And Murphy's dropped back a lot now from Smalley. You can see his softs have pretty much fallen off the cliff. They'll be happy to get second. So Smalley, on his final lap, even with the time penalty, is going to take his second victory of the season. A victory so significant, it will move him back into the lead of the championship. 3.7 seconds is the gap now, so Dan Murphy will not find 7/10 in order to get this victory here. So Smalley through the Casio triangle for the last time. And it's going to be another victory added to his FRL credits. Smalley wins the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka. He moves back into the lead of the Drivers' Championship with that. Murphy crosses over the line to take second place. And Becco is going to go to the podium for Aston Martin. Third place for him. Romans Republic demoted to 4th with his penalty applied. Berry up to 5th. Pimis 6th. Ginge is in 7th. Mikey will be 8th. De Rudiger down to 9th with the penalty applied. Daradosh will be 10th for Ferrari. And Arjun picking up the last point. Well, I say picking up the last point. He'll get points for finishing 11th, which will be 6th for finishing there. Daradosh does have the fastest lap point at the moment. But if Arjun does get that, then Daradosh will not take that point. Neither will anyone else. But it's a victory for Smalley here at Suzuka. And what a victory he will celebrate tonight. Excellent stuff. And I think Arjun is going to set the fastest lap of the race, to be honest with you. And he does so. So Daradosh does not get that point for the fastest lap. So the driver's out onto the podium. And Smalley, the Season 1 champion of the FRL in Tier 1, makes it 2 victories this season. There's no question he'll celebrate long into the night with this one. And it will boost his confidence going into the next round in Austin. So your final race result then is Smalley, who wins ahead of Murphy in second place after starting 14th on the grid as well. So he's most certainly my driver of the day. Couldn't agree more with Codemasters. Becco third ahead of Romans Republic. Berry is 5th. That's his best result of the season. Pimis in 6th. Jin 7th. Mikey 8th. De Rudiger 9th. And Daradosh 10th. Arjun in 11th. In the last driver to finish. Lezard crashed out, as did Liam and Zach. Both of those two will be under investigation afterwards for deliberately crashing out. So the situation in the Drivers' Championship with Smalley collecting 40 points and Lezard only picking up 1 for game. And so the next round of the championship will be in Austin in the United States in a week's time. 8 p.m. Tuesday, the 21st of September. So do tune in for do tune in for then, as I say. Thank you for joining us. Do make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And we can't wait to do it over again in 7 days' time. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the Formula Racing League returns.